Emma's Amazing Day at the Zoo. Chapter 1: The Exciting Plan. It was a sunny Friday afternoon when Emma got home from school. She dropped her backpack by the door and ran into the kitchen, where her mom was making dinner. "Mom, guess what?" Emma exclaimed with a huge grin on her face. "What is it, sweetie?" her mom asked, smiling back at her. "We're going to the zoo tomorrow. Mrs. Harris told us today at school. We're going on a family trip to the zoo, and I can't wait to see all the animals," Emma said, almost bouncing with excitement. Her mom chuckled. "That sounds wonderful. I know you've been wanting to go to the zoo for a long time. I'll pack us some snacks for the trip. It's going to be a fun day." Emma couldn't stop smiling. She had always loved animals and had read so many books about them. She couldn't wait to see them in real life, especially the elephants and giraffes. That night, Emma went to bed early. She wanted to be well rested for the big day. As she lay in bed, she imagined herself feeding the giraffes, watching the lions, and maybe even holding a baby monkey. The zoo was like a whole new world waiting for her. Chapter 2: The Zoo Adventure begins. The next morning, Emma woke up before the sun was even up. She quickly got dressed, brushed her teeth, and packed her favorite stuffed animal, Floppy the bunny, in her backpack. Her family, her mom, dad, and big sister Lily, were all just as excited as she was. By the time they reached the zoo, the sun was shining brightly, and the air was filled with the sounds of birds chirping. As soon as they walked through the entrance gates, Emma's eyes widened in awe. The zoo was huge, with signs pointing to different animal exhibits everywhere. "Where should we go first?" Emma asked, looking around excitedly. "Well, what animals do you want to see the most?" her dad asked, pulling out a zoo map. "The elephants. I want to see the elephants first," Emma said without hesitation. "All right then, to the elephants we go," her dad said, leading the way. As they made their way through the zoo, Emma saw all sorts of amazing animals: flamingos standing on one leg, colorful parrots squawking in the trees, and even a family of playful otters splashing in the water. But when they reached the elephant exhibit, Emma gasped in amazement. The elephants were even bigger than she had imagined. One of the elephants was playfully spraying water with its trunk, while another was munching on a huge pile of hay. "They're so big," Emma said, her eyes wide with wonder. "Elephants are the largest land animals in the world," Lily said, reading from the information sign next to the exhibit. "They're so gentle, though," Emma added, watching the elephants move gracefully. As they watched, a zookeeper came over and started explaining more about the elephants. Emma listened carefully, learning all about how elephants communicate with each other through low rumbles and how they take care of their babies. Chapter 3: Meeting the Giraffes. After spending some time with the elephants, Emma and her family moved on to the giraffe exhibit. The giraffes were standing tall, their long necks reaching up to the treetops to munch on leaves. "Wow, they're so tall," Emma said, tilting her head all the way back to see them. "They sure are," her mom said, laughing. "Giraffes are the tallest animals in the world. Did you know that their necks can be up to 6 feet long?" Emma shook her head. "I didn't know that. That's taller than me." Just then, one of the zookeepers invited visitors to come feed the giraffes. Emma's heart raced with excitement as she and Lily got in line. When it was her turn, the zookeeper handed Emma some leafy branches. "Hold it up nice and high, and the giraffes will come right to you," the zookeeper instructed. Emma did as she was told, and sure enough, one of the giraffes lowered its head and gently took the leaves from her hand with its long, purple tongue. "That tickles," Emma giggled, feeling the giraffe's soft tongue brush against her hand. Lily took a turn too, feeding a different giraffe while drawing a quick sketch in her notebook. "Giraffes are my favorite animals," Emma said as they walked away. "They're so graceful and gentle." Chapter 4, A Roar from the Lions. Next, the family made their way to the lion exhibit. Emma could hear the deep, rumbling roar of a lion before they even reached the enclosure. Wow! Did you hear that? Emma said, her eyes wide with excitement. That's the king of the jungle, her dad said with a smile. When they reached the lion exhibit, Emma saw a large male lion lying in the sun, his golden mane shining in the light. 2 lionesses were lying nearby, while 3 playful lion cubs chased each other around. They're so cute, Emma said, watching the cubs pounce on each other. The male lion let out another loud roar, and Emma felt the ground vibrate beneath her feet. Lions are so powerful, Lily said, jotting down notes in her sketchbook. Did you know they can run up to 50 miles per hour? Emma shook her head in amazement. That's so fast. I'm glad they don't chase after people. They're usually not interested in people, her mom explained. They prefer hunting animals like zebras and antelopes. They spent some more time watching the lions before moving on to the next exhibit. Emma couldn't wait to see what other animals they would discover. Chapter 5, The Monkey Mischief. As they approached the monkey exhibit, Emma heard loud chattering and laughter. The monkeys were swinging from branch to branch, chasing each other around the enclosure. These guys are having so much fun, Emma said, laughing as she watched the monkeys play. One monkey swung down close to the glass and pressed its face right up against it, making funny faces at the visitors. Emma giggled and made a silly face back at the monkey. They're so funny, Emma said. I wish I could swing in the trees like that. I think you'd make a pretty good monkey, her dad teased, ruffling her hair. As they watched, one of the zookeepers came out and started feeding the monkeys some bananas and fruit. Emma was fascinated by how quickly the monkeys grabbed the fruit and ate it. Monkeys are so smart, Lily said, drawing a picture of one of the monkeys. Did you know some monkeys can use tools to find food? Emma nodded. Yeah, I read that in one of my animal books. Monkeys are really clever. After spending some time with the monkeys, it was time for lunch. Emma's stomach growled, and she was more than ready for the picnic her mom had packed. Chapter 6, The Picnic Break. The family found a nice spot in the zoo's picnic area, where they spread out a blanket and unpacked their lunch. Emma was starving after all the excitement of the morning. They enjoyed sandwiches, fruit, and cookies while talking about their favorite animals so far. I think the giraffes are my favorite, Emma said between bites of her sandwich. I really liked the lions, Lily said. They're so powerful and majestic. The elephants were amazing too, their dad added. It's hard to pick a favorite. After lunch, they rested for a bit before deciding where to go next. There were still so many animals left to see. Chapter 7, The Reptile House. After their picnic, the family decided to visit the reptile house. Emma wasn't sure how she felt about reptiles. She liked animals with fur, but reptiles were a little, well, scary. When they stepped inside the reptile house, it was cool and dark. The air was filled with the sound of hissing and slithering. Emma stayed close to her mom as they walked through. They saw all kinds of reptiles, snakes coiling around tree branches, turtles lounging in the water, and even a giant crocodile resting on a rock. Whoa, that crocodile is huge, Emma said, staring at the enormous reptile. They're very powerful, her dad said. But don't worry, they can't hurt us in here. Emma nodded but kept a safe distance from the glass. She preferred animals she could pet, like dogs and cats. Chapter 8, The Penguin Parade. After leaving the reptile house, they headed to the penguin exhibit. Emma immediately felt the cool breeze as they entered the area. The penguins were waddling around on the ice, diving into the water, and swimming gracefully. Emma loved how funny they looked on land but how fast they were in the water. They're like little torpedoes in the water, Emma said, laughing. One of the zookeepers started a penguin parade, where the penguins marched around their enclosure while the crowd watched and clapped. They're so cute, Emma said, clapping along with the others. Lily took out her sketchbook again and started drawing one of the penguins. Chapter 9, The Grand Finale, The Butterfly Garden. As the day was winding down, there was one last place Emma wanted to visit, the butterfly garden. When they stepped inside, Emma was immediately surrounded by the fluttering wings of hundreds of butterflies. They were all different colors, bright blues, oranges, and yellows. It's like a magical fairyland, Emma whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. One butterfly landed gently on her hand, and she stood still, admiring its delicate wings. They're so beautiful, Emma said softly. They sure are, her mom agreed. Butterflies are a symbol of transformation and beauty. Emma spent the rest of the afternoon wandering through the garden, watching the butterflies dance in the air. It was the perfect end to an amazing day. Chapter 10, Home Sweet Home. As the sun began to set, it was time to leave the zoo. Emma felt a little sad to say goodbye to the animals, but she knew she would come back again someday. On the ride home, Emma talked non-stop about all the animals she had seen. She couldn't wait to tell her friends at school about the elephants, giraffes, lions, and penguins. When they got home, Emma was exhausted but happy. She climbed into bed that night with Floppy the bunny and smiled as she thought about all the wonderful memories she had made. As she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of giraffes, lions, and butterflies, knowing that the next adventure was always just around the corner.